Hello and welcome to another edition of Citizen Herald. This is our weekly program where we showcase the aspirations of the people, the grievances of the people, the problems which people have. Basically, people's issues are showcased and highlighted in these programs. This is taken from the Voice of Goa Herald, where various citizens write about such issues, and on Herald TV we showcase this in the form of calling the citizen, the public spirited citizen, and then interviewing them more in depth about the problem and highlight this issue before the authorities. This week it is my pleasure to welcome citizen Vinay Dwivedi to our program Citizen Herald. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Freddy. It's been a great pleasure, and I would say it's an honor to be invited by your esteemed paper. And you have given me a public platform to reach out to many people to highlight the problems faced by the common man, and also the fact that you have been so generous with your time and given me a brief discussion previous to the interview, like what I would speak about. I'm very grateful to you, and yeah, let's get ahead with the interview.
Yeah, so before we go ahead, I would like you to introduce yourself. What is your background? Okay. And thereafter you can also tell us what motivates you to take up these public issues.
Yes. My name is Vinay Dwivedi, and I'm basically a graduate from IIT Roorkee, an architecture graduate, but I did some courses in highway engineering also, and management of real estate, plus construction management, and in projects. So I basically have a design and build background, and I'm very interested in the kind of buildings or infrastructure which is being put up in the country. Right or wrong, that's not for me to say unless I have very strong opinion about a few things, and if it affects the common man. So and also this public spirited thing which you talk about, maybe it comes from parents. I come from a defense background. My father was in the Navy.
Okay.
And he taught us a lot to stand up for what is right and never stand up for what is wrong and never support whatever is wrong. The best part is, to my mind, if you can do something good for the common man, it's like to your credit. That's the least one should do as a citizen, as a concerned citizen, and try to set things right. I've been highlighting these issues for a very long time, and maybe out of what I have seen, my score is about 30%. That means if I have highlighted 10 issues, at least 3 of them get resolved by my very dogged persistence. Okay. I use social media a lot. I use Twitter, I use Facebook. Of course, I write letters to newspapers like yours, Navin Times, Times of India, and various other media platforms. It is not that my voice is always heard. A lot of people just, maybe they'll be throwing my communication in the dustbin and saying, oh, this is nothing for us. There's nothing in it for us.
Yeah.
But I still am very persistent kind of guy, because like I said earlier, being from a projects background, we always used to have these deadlines that if there is a work to be finished in 10 days, my target was to finish it in 8 days.
Yeah.
So that with that kind of background, it has carried on and worked for 32 straight years without a break in employment. So that doggedness, that persistence, that focus on quality and focus on making the lives of the common people better has been, it's in my DNA, I would say, right now. And I've carried, by God's grace, I've carried through. I'm in my 59th year of existence on this earth. But still, I like doing these kind of things.
Okay.
Anything which will improve the life of the common man.
So fantastic. And earlier you mentioned to me that basically earlier you were based in Delhi, and now you have made Goa your home.
Yeah.
And you have taken up for Citizen Herald, you have taken up this issue of the Western bypass, which has been constructed by filling low-lying fields at Banauli, and you have said or put a question mark whether this is a recipe for disaster. Now basically your contention is that this Western bypass was not even required.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
I have spoken to a lot of experts, people who have designed highways down south, up north, because I have a lot of connection with people whom I've worked with during my professional life. I'm retired now. See, what I have seen, I live in the village of Benolim. I've been living there for almost 5 years now permanently, though I've been a visitor to Goa for almost 20 years.
Okay.
So my ultimate aim was to retire in Goa after I finish with my work. So like I said, I worked for 32 straight years. So I've been very observant of things which have been going on, and unfortunately, I would say that things have gone from bad to worse. And this concept of Western bypass, there has been no proper thorough study done whether it is required or whether it's not required. When I speak to experts, they say the volume of traffic and the environmental damage it will create by building this bypass, it is not justified at all. And I live very close to a place where the supposed Western bypass is being built. A lot of the portion of the Western bypass has been already constructed. Hundreds of, I would say thousands of crores have been spent on it. Also, the route of the Western bypass is, it comes from Mongol, Serolim, and then it connects to the Benolim Varka road.
Okay.
But what I want to stress is, the Western bypass near the Benolim village, on the periphery of the village, I would say, they are cutting through lush green paddy fields which have been cultivated for generations by the Mundkas. You have this Mundka system in Goa, wherein you give them land and they produce, and they have a right to build a house or dwelling unit there. So there is already a Benolim to Varka road existing which connects to the Calvado bypass, which is part of the Western bypass system.
And this Benolim Varka road is broad enough?
It's broad enough, and it has been broadened about 2 years back. So now you can have, it's almost a runway now. If you see it from the Khariban bridge side or from the Benolim side, it's almost a runway. It's so huge and so wide. So this, just for it's a kind of, I would say it's a vanity project for the government. This is what is being pushed as progress and Vikas, and we're doing so much for infrastructure. It's a lose-lose situation for everything. The farmers are losing their livelihood because all your paddy fields have been destroyed. For the common man also, the highway engineering which has been done for the supposed Western bypass, I keep on saying, it's so bad that it is going to be going to be a site for accidents all the time, like what we see in Karmali Ghat now. The third thing is, it's destroying the environment completely, and a lot of the muck which is being taken out, or excess mud which is there for building this bypass, is being slowly dumped into the Sal river, which flows very close by. So as it is, the river is highly silted, there is no desiltation going on, and they are slowly killing the river also. If you see the Sal river in this area, it's a very thin strip, and a lot of sewage discharge is also happening. So the environmental damage is incalculable. So no one is actually benefiting from the Western bypass except, I think, the contractors and the government officers. I have no fear in saying this openly.
Okay. Now we take up this issue in terms of 4 sections, and one section is pertaining to what is the problem. Now basically, in your article which you have written on 10th of April in Herald, the Voice of Goa, you have highlighted that there has been filling of low-lying fields at Piken, Pulwado, Benouni, and you have said that there is damming and alteration of the natural water drainage channels by building earthen embankments.
Yes, I would like to explain. The area from which this Western bypass connector is coming, it's already a low-lying land. It is almost 3 to 4 feet below the existing road level. By the existing road level, I mean the Benolim to Varka road, which originates from the Khariban bridge. So as it is, it's already a trough, right? Every year I have seen, like, it's almost this road, the new road I'm talking about, is under 2.5 to 3 feet of water. Last year itself, my car, I was going on some emergency duty somewhere. I don't remember now exactly where I was going because I hardly use the car. So my car got stuck because there was flooding. Every year there is this flooding which happens. And with this filling and a lot of earth filling, a lot of machinery there. Now you can see, I've given you the photographs. There's a lot of precast concrete also being put at the site for putting these culverts and making those drains and messing up the whole issue. So I don't understand what is the use. One is like, there is no volume of traffic justifying this. There already exists a very wide connector which connects, like I said earlier, to the Calvado bypass. So it's absolutely unnecessary every which way.
Yeah.
I think it's just a money-making enterprise for the government and the contractors.
And you have mentioned that paddy fields are being ravaged by these kind of
Yes,
vanity projects.
the area where this bypass connect is coming up, it still has very lush green paddy fields which were cultivated by the Munkars for generations, maybe 4 to 5 generations, I would say 60 years. So all of that is being done away with. The area other than the main road, the connector road, they are also building these culverts and drains to supposedly drain out the water which is already going to come inside the paddy fields. So where is the water going to drain out? It is going to drain out into the Sal River,
Yeah.
which itself is so silted. I have shown you the photographs also. There is no desiltation happening.
Yeah.
It's all filled with hyacinth. There's a lot of sewage being discharged in the river. So all these natural water, we used to have these natural water drainage channels before this road work came up.
Yeah.
So it was not so much a problem previously, though there was flooding, but the water stood on the road for maybe about 3 days, 4 days, then it drained off.
Yeah.
Now because of this supposed bypass, the land parcel is divided into so many different pockets.
Yeah.
So there will be much more flooding and life is going to be
this
hell.
is basically the consequence. You're talking about the second part. These are the consequences of this western bypass going through the field. One of the most severe consequences will be flooding.
Will be flooding. That is for sure. I can bet my bottom dollar. I mean, even a blind man, a person who is not even into highway engineering or infrastructure or road construction can make out, because the land itself is low lying. Had been like a mountainous region or you're cutting through the mountain, then the water would have flowed automatically out. This itself is a low lying land. So now they are creating artificial channels which the water for the water to drain out, but which never works in the long run, because where is it going to drain out? Ultimately it's going to drain out in the nearest river or the nearest water bodies, which itself is choked totally. So the thing is, these kind of things which are being portrayed as huge vikas or progress, it is of no benefit to the common man.
Okay.
The common man doesn't benefit at all from it.
Yeah.
It's just the government and the contractors who benefit. Like, to give you a parallel this thing, in Panjim itself you have the smart city things happening. And you've seen how smart the city has become after these works started.
Panjim we will take up in another occasion. What I would like you to elaborate on is, when you talked about this water getting blocked and being drained, can you tell us what is your take on the Sal River at present?
The Sal River is, when I say the word river, there's something like a huge water body which comes to mind, very wide, free flowing, lot of fish, lot of marine life happening in that. But Sal River itself, now if you go to Betul, where the Sal River empties out into the Arabian Sea, that is the only place I would say where it can be called a river. Other than that, Sal River is no more than a glorified drain right now. Like I said, there's heavy siltation there. About 10 years back, it was very difficult to walk across the Sal because the water was so deep. But now at some place in the Sal, you can just wade across and go to the other bank. There hardly the distance between the two banks is hardly about 10 or 20 meters.
So it's become like a nalla.
So it is basically a glorified nalla. Plus also these industries and these restaurants, they have been asked to put up sewage treatment plants by the government. There is a law for all of this. I mean, there are hundreds of laws made by the government to keep the environment clean. But nothing has been done. They have made the STPs at some place, but it's shut off. And the discharge, the effluent is directly being done into the river. So it's no more than nalla. It's only if you go to Betul that you can actually see the Sal. And some places here or there. Other than that, it's just a thin strip. So there's hardly a river.
Okay. So then we move on to the third part. Now, we know what is the problem and what are the consequences. The third issue that we want to discuss on this program is what are the solutions to this?
The solution, I would say, is like, before taking up any infrastructure project, there should be a thorough study done as to how it is going to benefit the common man first of all. The second is what is the environmental impact.
Yeah.
As per law also there is something called environmental impact assessment,
Yeah.
which is to be done for large projects
Yeah.
or projects of this scale, because this is like massive.
Yeah.
But it is done only on paper, and a lot of these things are bulldozed by the other government departments,
Yeah.
because they just they have these deadlines to meet, and they have to show that we are progressing by building all these highways and all of this. So one is there should be thorough study done. The environmental impact assessment study should actually highlight what are the shortcomings of the project and how will affect people in a larger way.
Okay.
It's not that you just see a highway and they say, oh, it's a great highway we have built, and there'll be traffic running from here to there won't be any traffic jams and all that. And let me tell you one more thing, because I've been associated with highway engineers also during my career. What a highway does or a flyover does is basically, if you have a lot of traffic, it just pushes down the jam to the other end. That is all it does. Because as we know, in Goa, the number of vehicles is almost, or it is more than the number of people.
Yeah.
So traffic is also going to be there.
Yeah.
So all these things have to be taken into consideration before you embark on spending public money. This, of course, taxpayers' money. It is not the government spending from its own pocket.
Yeah.
So instead of wasting so much of money, all the environmental impact assessment, whether it is really required, and what are the alternatives if we can say upgrade the increasing infrastructure.
Yeah.
By making, for instance, if I have a small road, if I can add maybe one lane to it, and the traffic volumes are not so high, which demand a highway or a flyover,
Yeah.
then we can do with that. So we should not look at things in terms of, what is, like I said, this concept of progress which is thrust down our throats, that this is good for you, this is good for you.
Yeah.
And also public participation. Like for this, there has been a lot of opposition from the Benolim villagers,
Yeah.
from other villages also in Mungul and Serolim.
Yeah.
So in Mungul and Serolim, what they have done is they are building this bypass on stilts, which is supposed to save the fields, but actually that's not the case. I have seen in Mungul and Serolim also, they have these very huge, ugly circular columns coming up, and then you have the slip roads also to the left and right.
Yeah.
And below the flyover also, you just cannot have like soft earth. So you have to have some kind of road, a hardscaping. So in that case also, the fields are being destroyed. It's only they're being destroyed less. That is the only thing.
Yeah.
So they should hear to what is called vox populi, the voice of the people.
Yeah.
They should not suppress it. Unfortunately, in this present dispensation, it's only the government. It's like it's only the government talking to you.
Yeah.
You can't talk back anything to the government.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of either the Congress or the BJP or any political party, anything of that. But the thing is, now everything flows from the top. There is nothing that the citizen or the common man can say to the powers that be, that please do this for us, or at least hear our voices. There has been a lot of opposition, but it's all been smothered.
Yeah.
There have been arrests, there have been, police flag marches. Like if I give you a parallel example, it will be like for the 3 linear projects and the double tracking.
Yeah.
There also a lot, or for the IIT, what happened this, the IIT land case.
Yeah.
So a lot of citizens have been arrested, they've been beaten up, and ultimately the government gets its way. It's like a George Orwell's 1984 situation, It's like Big Brother is always watching you, and whatever Big Brother says is right. And you can't talk back, you can't give any feedback, you might be arrested.
Now, amidst this kind of a scenario that you have described, Citizen Herald is an occasion to showcase, what are the problems of the people, and this is trying to tell the authority that, look here, these are the problems which people face, these are the things which you are not doing wrong. This is the kind of development which people don't want. And I'm glad that you are able to come on this program and tell our viewers very graphically what is the situation here. Now, you have been coming to Goa, as you said, for over the last 20 years. Now, as an observer, what is the transformation of Goa that you have seen over the years?
See, as an observer, because I'm very close to Goa, mentally also and physically also, ultimately my dream was to settle down in Goa after I retired. Like I said, I worked for 32 years. So what I've seen, Goa is growing more vibrant. There is a lot more construction activity happening. But whatever is happening is, I don't think it's good for Goa. A lot of illegal construction going on, and the political class, they are dominating the common people totally now.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of, I would say Goa is going slowly downhill. I used to enjoy the rains previously, like it used to rain for 3 whole days. The rivers were full 20 years back. You see the Sal River. It was so nice going boating on a river. But now the land sharks have come in. Lot of these, we use this term non-Goans. Actually, I'm also non-Goan, but my heart beats for Goa. So a lot of non-Goans are grabbing land. Builders are having a free hand. Everyone can do whatever she wants. For instance, this Sunburn Festival also,
Yeah.
I'll give you a parallel example. The party is from Bombay, and they have violated every rule in the book. The government said no, the decibel level should be this much, this should be this much. But they violated every rule in the book, and now the government itself is saying that all these permissions, they have been flouted. So it is like it's a free for Goa is now a free for all country.
So
It's,
apart from the model of development, apart from builders running amok, you also have underlined the declining law and order situation
yes, the law and order.
and the rule of law.
There is practically, I would say, there's no rule of law now. Whenever you question the government says, oh, the crime detection rate is very good in Goa. We are detecting 98% of the crime. But what is actually happening? For instance, I'll give you a small case. This drug menace which is happening with a very famous shack restaurant, shack in North Goa. There was also a BJP leader involved. She died. What happened was the Goa police, I have seen, and the Goa government, to keep up a clean image, they don't even let FIRs be filed first. And the other is they go easy on all these, drug lords and prostitution. There's a lot of things happening. I don't have to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
For in this particular case, in this North Goa, these cops from Hyderabad had to come and arrest the drug pusher, and I think he's still in jail. He was trying to
Yeah.
get some bail on some COVID grounds or something, but it was proved false.
Yeah.
So what we are not doing anything for that matter. I have seen Russians personally, they are growing cannabis in households which have been let out by landlords, knowing that all these illegal activities are happening, but because they are paid rent about 7 to 8 or even 10 times the normal rental in that area, they keep quiet. So Goa has become like a free fall. चलता है कुछ कोई आके यहाँ पे कुछ भी कर सकता है. Anyone can do anything and the cops won't see. I personally have also filed cases and tweeted against beach shacks. They in the Benolim beach is a very public beach like Kolwa beach. So a lot of these shacks, they take over the whole beach, and by law they are allowed to put up only 10 beach beds.
Yeah.
But they put up maybe 70 or 80.
Yeah.
So this case also I have taken up. It happens that the police comes. If the guy is very well connected, nothing happens. If the guy is not very politically well connected, I'm talking the shack owner.
Yeah.
What happens is all the shacks are removed, the truck comes and all the furniture is taken away, the shed is dismantled.
Yeah.
But I've seen after 6 months again is the same situation.
Yeah.
So Goa, unfortunately, there is actually, I would say, no rule of law. Anyone, whether it's a Goan or someone from outside Goa, they come here, commit a crime. What I'm now also worried about is Goa has become a playground for international criminals.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who come to Goa from different states, and they rope in people from Russia, Bulgaria, other parts of Europe,
Yeah.
for better know-how of how to commit burglaries and all.
Yeah.
And they say commit burglaries or there are murders happening, and then they go back to whichever state they came from.
Yeah.
So Goa is the richest state in terms of per capita income,
Yeah.
if you might be knowing, in India.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money to be taken out, a lot of scope for crime, and the police is not really bothered about all of this.
Yeah. So because it is a tourist state, you are also concerned that the police may not be doing their job in having intelligence, in doing prior checks, in doing preventive patrolling and policing.
Yes. Also, like wherever, even if the police are posted, what they do is they don't really patrol it. For a few days, if there's a lot of noise about some crime happening, you'll see the police Innovas, they are going about the place, flashing the lights and all. So it happens for about 4 or 5 days, and after that everything is like back to square one.
Yeah.
So I would say the police is also not doing a good job. In the coastal belt also, there was this proposal for the tourist police to be appointed. So you don't have all these, massage parlors and Lamani menace which is happening in Goa at the beaches. They were supposed to be stopped. And now you won't believe it. In Benolim and Kolwa, there are even pickpockets roaming on the beach itself.
Yeah.
And there were rapes also about 2 years back. You must have read in Benolim. In Kolwa, there was a rape. So basically, Goa is like it's there's no control over anything.
Yeah.
The police are not bothered. The politicians are not bothered, and the people are left to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
So it is. It's gone from bad to worse, I would say.
Okay. Now, my last question to you is, today, suppose you are visiting Goa from Delhi for the first time, would you still fall in love in Goa, or having seen what Goa is today, would you still want to settle down in Goa today?
Well, I have mixed feelings about that. My heart still would beat for Goa because compared to other states, Goa is still very, very green. There are about 13 rivers flowing through Goa. I am a Piscean personally, so I am a water sign. I've always lived close to the sea or a water body. Okay. I would still settle for Goa despite all of this. My aim is not to criticize Goa. All these things are there. To some degree, it's there in every state in India.
And you're suggesting that they can be improved?
They can definitely be improved by better policing and better implementation of the laws. There are already enough laws to fight crime.
So what you're suggesting is that governance of the state can be improved?
Yes, the governance can be improved. And now, everything, like I said, flows from the top. What the center is concerned, the BJP is concerned, the Saffron Party, they are concerned only about winning elections. That is the be-all and end-all of their existence. The common man be damned. So it's if the governance improves, if the common man comes into their, onto the governance radar, things will improve a lot. I have definitely not given up on Goa. Things can improve a lot if the police, the administration and the political class, most of all, we require a lot of political will. We don't require more laws. There are more than enough laws.
So political leadership is very important.
Political leadership is very important.
Political will is important.
Yes, political will is most important. And you should face things head on. Like for instance, if there is a crime suddenly if there's spurting crime in maybe some police station, Kolwa, whatever region, so you should confront it. You should admit it. Okay, there are say 10 burglaries happen, so I'll fight it out. I'll put all my police forces to counter this kind of thing which is happening. But just brushing things under the carpet. For instance, this small example which I gave you, the cops from Hyderabad came and arrested the drug dealer in North Goa. So just pushing things under the carpet won't get you anywhere. You should confront things head on. That's been my policy in my project days also. So it is a lack of governance and lack of political will, because the political class is they're all either distracting the people from the real issues of unemployment, hunger and inflation and all of these things, or they are busy attending to people coming from Delhi, from the center, or their focus is only to win elections.
Okay. So I'm afraid we are completely out of time and we have to wind it there. It was a fascinating discussion with you, given your commitment to the place and the beautiful photographs which you have mapped for us so that our viewers can understand what is the topography of the place and what the issues are pertaining to the Western Bypass. So that was Mr. Vinay Dwivedi, enlightening us about the harm which can be caused due to the Western Bypass. Thank you for coming on our program.
Thank you so much for giving a platform to highlight these issues. This was just a small part of the issue. I'd say there are much larger issues, and if you magnify these 10x, then maybe you'll get a sense of what is actually wrong with Goa. This is just a small minuscule part of it. But I thank you so much for giving me a platform.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that was our program, Citizen Herald, on which we featured this time the Western Bypass constructed by filling the low-lying fields and what damage and harm it can cause to the environment. We thank you for watching this program, Citizen Herald. We hope you enjoy watching Herald TV.